Hello, good evening everybody, welcome along to the JACKOCAR Cup Series here for Season 5, and we have 2 races for the price of 1 tonight. It is rounds 5 and 6 here at Silverstone, and later on tonight, Monaco. It should be a very entertaining night. I'm your commentator Owen White, with me back from, we would say it's a decent race at Baku. It is Jackie.
Hello, good evening everybody. Decent-ish, I guess. Had it not been for that extra safety car, the third one of about 17 that we had, I think I'd have been on for a potential top 5, but you know, perhaps Cup Series is not for me, and that's why I'm now 4th in points in Kia Series, so I know where I belong.
Well,
and that would be this comms box.
yes.
No. Anyway, did you enjoy your time with Jess? What was the Baku race like to watch over?
Well, it was alright. I mean, there was a lot of safety car action, as you said. It took a while to get it going, and then once it did, everyone crashed and the stream broke. But once we got over that minor 20-lap hurdle, then it was alright, yeah. So,
yeah.
Let's just say I think it'll get better this week.
Oh yeah, so as you say, 2 for the price of 1. Quick recite on the rules before Yori comes out. Yori, by the way, in for Risky Racer. That means he is more full-time than the full-time driver he's replacing. So we're dropping the 50% for 2 25% races, but qualifying remains the same. The winner of Silverstone is excluded from qualifying at Monaco. Ben Harrett, or Ben for Spurs, as you see him in P12, has a qualifying ban. He's entitled to installation lap only, and the race winner of Britain is entitled to an installation lap only in Monaco. There's no jokers, and your stage points are laps 4 and 7 here, and 5 and 10 in Monaco, and that's about all I have for you.
Yeah, so it should be business as usual. Aside from all that then, so we are just waiting to get some cars on the track to start qualifying. Yuri, I'm pretty sure, isn't doing this just to annoy us. I'm imagining it might just be our timer, because he is out approximately a minute later than he should be, and that is probably just on the game for that one. And it must be said, the conditions are looking a little bit dull out there, aren't they? I wonder if there might be a little bit of rain on the horizon. It could help the guys that come out early, and obviously disadvantage those who would expect to see it at the front. Could mean you get a bit of a back to front grid, and since it's only a 25% race and the winner of this round sort of doesn't get to qualify for the next round, it could have a few sort of various implications. That's only if the weather turns. Maybe it'll get better, but it certainly doesn't look all that good at the moment.
It's going to be one of those that goes one of 3 ways, so it'll either stay the same, it'll get wet, or it'll get dry. We'll let you know in about 16 minutes time. But yeah, Yori, most reliable reserve driver I think we've ever had.
Do you even call him a reserve at this point? He's here so often.
I know. But of course he's not actually officially in contention for points, he is here for fun. But in Kia Series on Tuesday nights he is number 1. Of course, he won this race 2 weeks ago, and he was unlucky actually in the Netherlands Tuesday just gone, a race in which, of course, I got my first JACKOCAR podium, but we don't have to talk about that. I don't want to mention it. How long into the stream was that, Owen? About 5 minutes, and I mentioned it.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Congratulations to Jake on winning that one. But yeah, so Yori back in Cup Series once again. Yeah, I shall leave you to give us a lap of Silverstone and Owen on board with the Dutchman, the super sub, our very own Nico Hulkenberg.
Indeed, and well, if he can perform a 70th anniversary Grand Prix 2020 style qualifying session, then our own little Nico Hulkenberg will be very happy with himself as he starts his lap off here at Silverstone. You've got to be careful at quite a lot of the turns here. Of course, he knows this track very well, but there's so many easy spin points that you wouldn't expect. Like turn 1, for instance, I wouldn't be at all surprised if you see someone lose it through there. It should never happen, but just with the way the game is and the way the setups are, it can go a bit wrong. Here should be a flat-out blast, and the end of Sector 1. I imagine the Sector 1's will be relatively close tonight. It's all really going to be in this middle and third sector where most of the times means you can see already understeering wide as Yuri, and he's not really taking the perfect lines, and the rear end not quite sticking to the track the way he might be expecting as he heads up towards Copse Corner. Is he able to go flat out without having any sort of issues? It should be alright. There'll be some general aero slowdown, but you can see he hasn't quite got through the corner the way he wants to. You've got to turn in shockingly early for that corner just to make sure you get around properly. Taking, say, the official F1 line doesn't tend to work actually through there all that often. But Yuri's come through the S's as well, Maggots, Beggars and Chapel. Again, didn't look totally comfortable. I think he could probably tell you himself that he would have liked a better lap than this. But he will take what he can get. And right now, it will be a time on the board. It probably won't stay P1, but it will go there for the time being. And through the last corner, be careful not to lose the rear end and just get it across the line. It is only a 128.4. He'll not be happy with it, but it's at least a time on the board.
It's not awful, is it? But as you say, time on the board for Yuri. Next up, Cadgeman, Jake O'Sullivan, recently taken ownership of a direct drive Mini, or just a direct drive, but a Fanatec wheel finally. So he is still on the adjustment phase of that. But we are expecting big things from him later in the season, whether it's a win towards the end of the regular season or he ends up in the chase and dominates it. I've got a funny feeling this man will finally make a Championship 5 appearance, Owen, as he comes around these final two corners. The man from, I think, the Midlands of the UK, I'm not entirely sure, but up to the line he comes and it's a 27.5.
Yep, time's getting quicker already then, as we see how Tees is getting on board. Going with the, what was it, is that the Casper Ackerman stuff there.
Is. He's put a lot of effort into this livery, hasn't he? Come on.
That is top livery making skills there from the number 24. Very nice livery, of course, but he hasn't designed any of it.
No. I think the orange on it, if you can call it orange, is more of a crimson red, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very reminiscent of the Spiker days, you may recall.
It is, actually, yeah. It's quite a nice colour in the end, actually, as he goes fastest.
Puts in P1. Good lap.
Indeed, good lap. We'll see how Jamie can get on, see if he can also stick a good time on the board as he heads through. He's got the colours of the British flag on this one, hasn't he?
It's a nice looking livery. Is this a new one, is it?
I think it is. I haven't seen this one before. And
it's a lovely royal blue, isn't it?
Yeah,
it goes well with that white.
Similar to the sort of Williams livery he went for in the throwback week last season, the race he won at Monza, and he's obviously put a little bit of red into it as well, just for a little bit more character. But he has gone P2 with it. But yeah, very nice colours. Fan of that livery.
And now we move to Connor Byers. Normally Mr. Purple. It might be my HDR settings, but it looks more blue than usual.
Well,
man from the Isle of Wight.
I think it is purple. I hope it's purple. It looks purple to me. But
be surprised if it wasn't purple. It just on my screen here. It's a sort of middle blue colour.
There'd be questions to answer if this isn't purple. But let's see if the time will be there for him as well. Because a livery's one thing. Looking good while you go P1 is quite nice. So let's see if he can do it as he comes through in the number 74. Little bit squirmy on the brakes, but does get through the corner. And it's going to actually be the slowest time of the day so far. As Connor goes 5th fastest. And we'll see how everyone else can get on. Next up will be Quinn.
Those first few drivers we've just seen, excluding Yori, of course, as a reserve, they're all drivers, especially Jake, that need some points today. This man is no exception to that rule. Danny Quinn, the Luton Town fan. And that's just about all I have to say about Luton Town. I'll say no more. As he comes into the final complex of corners. You know, a lot of people don't like this section, Owen. I quite like it. It's one of those low grippy sort of bits of the track, but he goes P3. Not a bad lap time at all from Quinn.
I must say, I'm not the biggest fan of that section either. It's a lap ruiner, that section. You know, if at least it was at the start of the lap or something, it'd be a bit more, something you could deal with. But it's right at the end. It's just a kicker, isn't it? It's so annoying. Luckily, Casper's got through it okay, and he will go second fastest with a very nice livery as well. Nice to see the strong purple on this one.
Yeah, and okay, with everyone who's obviously left a little bit early out of the garage, it means we'll get the whole lap on board. The man from Cheltenham, Michael Okeke, and his car looking a little bit blue as well.
Oh,
so it must be my HDR settings.
Who is that off? Is that the man of the moment? Yeah, it's the man
last week's race winner.
Yeah, from last place on the grid, no less. And you can see Okeke taking a lovely tow off of Casper's car.
Oh.
It's actually more of a Ribena colour, that car, having looked at it again. And Okeke, he's undershooting at quite a lot of the corners. I don't know how much of a distraction Casper would have been there. But still, I don't think there'd be any sort of investigations for that one or anything like that.
No, I think he was picking up a sort of half a slipstream off of Casper, but it affected Okeke massively going into the corner. He went really wide, not ideal. It's going to affect him as he invalidates, so it doesn't matter anyway. The first two invalidate.
Yeah, which means we can come back to the man who, for the first time in JACKOCAR history, wasn't here last time out. Of course, we're talking about Pete Knighton.
Well, we've just missed Ben Harrett that just completed his installation lap, but yeah. Pete Knighton. Look, that's a lovely scheme, isn't it? Red, white, and blue.
Spoken like a true tea sipper.
And this is race number 70 for Pete Knighton.
It is a nice scheme, though.
It is, yeah.
I'll not be biased and say awful, but yeah. Let's hope it gets round the track, and see if Pete can get himself up there in the standings. We're still waiting for him to have his big moment this season, and really on this game, in fact. It's just not really worked out for him so far. And we said this on the last game as well. It just doesn't seem to be happening at the moment, but it might
he's
happen
not been
eventually.
The same since that crash at Canada Season 2.
No, it didn't help really, did it, that we spent that whole end of that race hyping him up just for him to stack it live on board at the end. It really was a low moment, wasn't it, in his JACKOCAR career?
Yeah.
But P1 here in Silverstone, he's had his one race off, and look what it's done to him. He's a new man.
For now. Corey, through cops.
I mean, we know all about him, don't we? He won last week, not only from last on the grid, but from last in the championship. Quite the impressive feat. And it's put him straight through to the playoffs. So he's just here for a bit of fun now, but he would like to win. And we know very much how quick he is, thanks to all of the one hub laps that he did the other week. And so I'm expecting nothing less than a P1 here. Of course, I was saying that actually, Jamie was quick. He was even quicker than me, in fact, Jamie. So, and that's ridiculous. So actually, probably he'll go P1. But this could be a solid P2, even on the mediums. We'll see. Ignore that. He's nowhere.
Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two-time race winner now is Corey. So I mean, his average finishing position is now 12th. By the way, for those interested, this is his 26th start. As we move to Esti Mats, the man from Estonia. Actually having a very good season so far. He's just finishing the races and it's got him inside the top 10. And that appears to be half the battle with the Season 4 rule that we brought in, where you've got to finish to score points. It's suiting Esti Mats' style.
Yeah, it seems to be serving him well. We'll see if he can get a bit higher up the standings. I always remember the ILR8 race in Australia where he just showed up and absolutely dominated. I'm still waiting for him to do that again here, to be honest. I think it will come one day as he goes P5 here. And yeah, we'll see if his results can pick up. But right now, I mean, he's sitting in the playoff position, isn't he? So, I mean, he's not doing anything really wrong.
He's sitting happy. Gareth Hall also sitting in a playoff position. We established the other day this gentleman here is the oldest man in the Cup Series, but not the entire league of JACKOCAR, as he crosses the line to go P7 for now. The times are very close, but it's the big boys that are up next, starting with MK Bourne.
Still a big fan of this livery. I don't think I'll ever get sick of this one. It is Very, very nice indeed. And hopefully we'll see it win at some point, because it would be wonderful to see. But he's still waiting really for his second winner, JACKOCAR. I mean, one of the stats from last week for Baku is that he's a winner there.
Oh.
And, well, he's not a winner in Chapel, is he? That was really perfect there, but he has kept it valid. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's kept it quicker than Connor, so it might even still beat him. But, yeah, still waiting for that second win in JACKOCAR. We thought maybe there was a chance it would come last week. Let's just be clear, it just didn't. But anyway, we'll see as he comes right now. This probably will go 11th. I don't really see it going anywhere else. Yeah, he did well to recover from the mistake though and not invalidate it, so I suppose he'll take that. As we move on to Jordan, who's next up, and he's gone all Colton Herta on us, hasn't he, with his livery?
I was thinking more Sheffield Wednesday. He's brought back the Sheffield Wednesday colours and a bit of yellow for Jordan Racing.
Well, it could be that as well, but it is.
That's a good lap.
It is also very much a Gainbridge livery. You know what I'm talking about. Surely, you know, especially the onboard shot. You're a Colton Herta, my dude. You're P3. Anyway, next up is Mr. I'm expecting you to be on pole because of how much you sweated out one hub.
And he's on softs as well.
Going faster than me is no mean feat, and not that I've got an ego, but he was quicker, so he's got to be pretty good. I've been racing this guy all season in one hub, so our cheeky little rivalry is going to pick up again, I think. But we'll see how he gets on here in a one quality lap shooter. And as you say, it is indeed a soft tyre run. Possibly a different sort of philosophy, thanks to the fact that you've got to make 2 green flag pit stops in 13 laps around here. Something which really isn't as easy as it sounds with our track record of safety cars. And he nearly had a lapse of concentration through Chapel and really went straight on. Luckily, he got his wits about him there, because that would have been very embarrassing at the end of the lap. Although saying that...
Look at the time. Look at the time.
I only realising that now as well, yeah. Maybe we've had a momentary lapse of judgment as well, because he appears to have forgotten to do the first sector in any sort of reasonable speed as he comes through. Okay, well, I don't know what happened there, but he's 14th. I don't know, we must have just missed him having a thing, because it looked pretty good the rest of the lap. So, yeah. Oops. Pretty,
anyway, top 5 then.
Yeah.
We'll ignore that, we don't make mistakes.
No. Not us.
Kieran, who's opted to go onto the medium tyre. It's something we don't see him do very often.
Yeah, he's thought about this.
Kieran, by the way, speaking of Gareth, he's the oldest man in the Cup Series. This is the youngest man. Kieran Spears to the line. It's P7.
Oh, do you know what? That is a top 10 start. He has done well.
He has.
He'll take that. I'd be taking that. Because, I mean, 2 sets of sauce right here. That screams lap 1 pit stop.
Yeah, is it his day then, Kieran, finally? As we move on to Iceman, last week's pole sitter. I was in the party at the time.
Yes.
He did celebrate, I can assure you. Ben Shaw from St Helens in the north of England. Can he bang it on pole? 2 weeks in a row, up to the line. Here he goes, it's only P3.
Very close, isn't it? We were saying this earlier, the gaps. Under a quarter of a second separating the top 5, sorry, right now. And Kyle's going to get a lovely tow all the way down the back straight. That's exactly what you want to see from a teammate. And it's exactly...
I wonder if that's why Jamie was going slowly.
Yeah, well, maybe...
It's a plan for that, maybe.
I'd be surprised, but I'm sure he'll claim he did it on purpose. As he heads through now, Kyle, a little bit slidey. This isn't going to go P1. In fact, it will struggle to make top 10. He's only gone P12. So that toe hasn't really helped too much. And now, look at this. We've got Red Matt changing his colours to gold now. So is he having an identity crisis, or does he really like the 96 Jordan? Because that's what that screams to me.
It does look very nice, doesn't it? In this light as well.
I know.
A little bit of overcast.
We're doing Monaco at night tonight.
Yes, we are.
Wait till you see it in that.
I'm excited.
Please don't stack it in Monaco, dude. He's even got the gold helmet in there as well. I'm a fan of this. But will it bring him the lap time?
The qualifying order, of course, remains the same as well for Monaco. But what can Red Matt do? Owen Wyatt, we come into The final couple of corners here.
Yep, and we'll see Red Matt come through. Will he be able to stick it on pole? He's so good at it, but he's gone wide at the last corner. That's going to be tricky to get across the line, but he's just about done it. Look at that. He's gone pole by the merest of margins. 0.02 seconds. He had so nearly blown it, but once again, Matthew Redmore, he's done it so often now. It's his, 7th pole in JACKOCAR. And honestly, with the way he's going, he could just keep going up and up and up and up and up. What a lap.
Well, it's another playoff point for him. That's the 19th one this season that he's got.
Are we watching the origins here of a new champion, I wonder? Because I don't want to sort of get too excited too early, but he is coming into every race as the favourite now, isn't he?
He is. But I'll tell you what as well, we didn't see it last season, but the Speed Boys in general are having an excellent season.
Yeah. Superb stuff. Even when there isn't sort of a teams format, they're still clearly helping each other out and doing good. As we see Redmat on pole, from Pete 2nd, Tees 3rd, Iceman 4th, Jordan 5th, Casper 6th, Jamie 7th, SE Matt 8th, Kieran 9th, Quinn 10th, Gareth 11th, Jake 12th, Kyle 13th, Corey 14th, Yuri 15th, MK Born 16th, Connor 17th, J Luke 18th, Ben, who obviously was enjoying a quali band, 19th, and Okeke, who invalidated his time in P20.
Man to watch for this race, I'm going to say Kieran Spears on those mediums.
I agree with you. I'd say
P9, he's right in the middle of it, but it's a good strat to start on.
I'd say Kieran's one to look out for, and you got to look out for Jamie. He's not gonna take that line down, sitting down all the way. What, an 18th place was it? He was 17, 18, whatever he was. I know I just read it out, but I've already forgotten. He's right at the back, and he will be certainly climbing through the field in these races tonight. Hopefully, this is the only one who's going to have to worry about that in, because good luck trying that in Monaco. So hopefully, he's got his bad quali out of the way, and could be on his way to a win tonight, possibly, if he gets it all right at some point. But here, yeah, might be a challenge, but it'll be an entertaining drive regardless. And now we wait.
As we wait for the final few drivers. I'm excited, Owen. 2 races in a night.
I know.
We bloody Tom Smith.
Yeah. we're certainly we're getting good at this. By the way, this is a tradition. We do this every season. It used to be sort of 2 races on Silverstone. We did do it for the first season on this game, but we sort of thought, since there's no Silverstone short anymore, the whole thing doesn't really work as well anymore. So that's why we've actually included Monaco into this, to give us a bit of variety. And also, so that drivers don't have to suffer Monaco as much, because we've already made them suffer enough by making Saudi Arabia the season finale. So we're getting a little bit of respite for this one, but we'll still make it difficult for them.
I've noticed the only people complaining about Saudi Arabia are those that have to drive it on a pad.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, that's coming up end of the season. I don't have a date for you, but at the end of the season, our 5th championship 5 for the Cup Series, and we're very much looking forward to it. There is a formation lap on tonight, despite it being 25%, and Red Matt will get that underway for us. Pete Knighton, interested to see what he can do. I mean, he's not on pole, but he is on the inside, and with no teams in JACKOCAR anymore, will he just force Red Matt a little bit wide into 1? T's behind them, the newest driver in the league. What can he do? He hasn't had the chance to show it yet, because his first race was the Paul Ricard Super Speedway, and then he missed last week in Baku. Iceman still up there, isn't he? P4.
Yeah,
and Jordan, I believe his best qualifying of the season. Let me check. Yes, it is.
Definitely good stuff from Iceman, seeing him up there again, and we'll see if he can keep the form up. We're saying about Saudi Arabia, that's actually the 16th of June. That's so long away, isn't it?
Isn't it?
We've only got started. We're only at the very, very, very end of March right now, so we are certainly a long way away from thinking about Saudi Arabia. But some of them get to think about it now, because this is a whole sort of exercise in building up playoff points now for the likes of Red Matt, who's already through. And just because he looks so dominant right now, by the way, doesn't necessarily mean it will transfer over into a championship. We've seen it so many times. Arnaud, if you ask Arnaud about this, he'll probably have some sort of PTSD attack. It genuinely never works out the way you think it would. I mean, Kyle as well, poor guys. I mean, dominating the early part of the season doesn't necessarily always mean you're in a shoe-in for the title. I'm sure Redmat's going to be thinking about that. He just wants to make sure he'll have his points ready to at least get him to the Championship 5.
Yeah, I mean, the first 16 races of the season, that's all that matters, is just get the points, get into the C5, and then see where you are from there. I mean, Redmat is a man who could have won it last season. Of course, we say it every week. That man down in P9 bringing out a late safety car is what stopped Matt from doing it. But of course what Kieran did do is put everybody else back in contention to win it, and we had a hell of a race down in Austin, Texas, as we line up, Owen, for our 9th race. Well, technically 8th Cup Series race. We had the charity race here back in 2020, and we've had a number of Kia Series races here as well. But Silverstone, very much one of our most visited tracks in the Cup Series. It's over to you.
Well, here we go. I'm telling you, this is a race they're all going to be praying for no safety cars, and they want to get these 2 stops in. They don't want any problems. But this is JACKOCAR, you know what to expect. All 5 lights are on here in Silverstone. Boogity, 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 let's go racing! It looks like a very good start from Redmat. He's straight into turn 1, teases around the outside of Pete. Is anyone going to lose if you turn 1? A couple are going just a little bit wide, but they appear to be just trying to keep their wits about them as they head through into the first braking zone, and we see a few side by side. Jake's off again for the 2nd week in a row on the first lap. It just isn't happening as we see Pete losing it, and now nearly 3 wide as he heads onto the back straight. Really tricky stuff, but the front guys are all keeping it on the road, and it looks like as we head through to the end of the first sector, they're still at it, and Pete is doing his absolute best to hold on, but he looks like he's being swamped from absolutely everywhere. As Corey tries to get involved, he's having a really decent start. He's up in P6 at the minute. But as we head through towards Cops, are we going to see any moves? A couple trying to go side by side. I wonder how many are thinking of a lap 1 pit stop as well. Surely they don't want to get involved in an accident this early. Just get to the pits if that's what the plan is, and I imagine it might well be for some of them.
Yep, you took the words out of my mouth, as you usually do there, Owen. Corey with an excellent start from, I think, 15th on the grid, all the way up into the top 6 already. But Redmat streaking away. Is it going to stay green? And I think if it does, we are going to get some lap 1 pitters. It makes a lot of sense too. Redmat stays out, and Tees follows him.
And the rest.
Everybody else behind is sensible. Look at pit road. This is going to be busy as you like.
Big accident! Huge accident! Now, everyone who's got to the pit lane, luckily for them, it's a VSC, but there are a few that have been disqualified for blocking the safety car or the pit entrance. I wonder how much of this has been caused as a full safety car comes out now. As far as I'm aware, everyone was pretty much committed.
Yeah.
I'd say everyone was pretty much committed, so I don't think there's going to be any issues with any of these stops. And it's good. It's a good thing, Matt, because Iceman, one of the drivers in there, there's a bit of double stacking going. He's had to change his front wing, so he's falling way down the field. But a lot of them double stacking. At least they'll get back out on the same train that they came in on. But yeah, I've got to assume that accident was caused by everyone just cutting right to try and pit, and they all just got a bit tripped up over each other.
The first incident I saw, I was on board with, I can't remember who, but whoever Pete was behind. Pete went into the back of them, and I think there was just a chain reaction from there. There's nobody really to blame. It's just one of those people braking at different points, trying to slow the car down, which is correct. And in the middle of all of that, a few broken wings, which is fine, because all of those are mandatory stops. Everybody from 7th on down. But we did lose OKK and Catchman through disqualifications. Again, the game feeling that they were at fault for blocking the pit lane. It's such hard luck. But yeah, your net race leader is Jamie, but he has a penalty.
Yeah, there's a few penalties out there.
So Jordan,
three separate 5-second penalties. Now, I'm not expecting to see anyone else pitting, by the way. It makes no sense. As MK Bourne pulls into the pits. He's only got 13 laps, and Ben as well into the pits. I don't see what's the point. Because yes, it means you're on the back of the train, but it means you also haven't made a mandatory stop, and you'll be even further behind when you decide to make the mandatory stops. So what you've done there is you've ruined your race, I'm saying.
Yeah, should have kept track position, and you never know, a few spinners might put you up a couple of positions, but ideally you should have pitted on lap 1.
Now, why is Casper back in the pits? That is a second stop. So we need to note that one down as an absolute safety car pit stop, won't we? But
So who's that? Mike and Ben, yeah, in the pits.
And Casper as well, in the Ribena coloured car. I see. Taking his 5-second penalty.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense, that.
That might end up being smart, actually. Yuri's in the pits as well to take off his hard compound tyres. Maybe he just put them on by mistake, but he's coming back out right at the back. And well, for these guys' sake, considering we only have 10 laps to go at the end of this, this safety car bloody well be going in for them. But I'm telling you, it won't be. Look at how much of a field spread there is. If that safety car manages to come in this lap, I'd be impressed, to be honest. But yeah, well, maybe it will. But if you're Yuri, you'd be feeling a tad robbed if it did. And it's going to cause a lot of problems.
The later it stays out, the longer it stays out, just helps the other drivers more that have already pitted or for mandatory stops. Non-mandatory total now is up to 41 for the season. I just, what's going to happen to Red Matt and Tees, Gareth and Connor?
I just don't get the logic of not pitting, Yeah. I don't get it.
25% race. The only people I could see staying out really is somebody like Yuri. He's here for fun, not points. So maybe pick up a few laps led, a few playoff points here and there. He's the only man I would have expected to stay out. We know what these 25% races are like. So yeah, I don't get the logic.
Well, we'll hopefully see the safety car in at the end of this lap, and hopefully not seeing everyone come back out again, because that would be quite problematic for those who really haven't pitted, because they'll be in some serious trouble. And they really would be at that point. So they've got to make sure they pit. And they can't do it at the end of this lap. They'll have to be at the end of lap 5, and they'll have to hope it stays green for that.
And of course, the mandatory stop, as everyone knows by now, it has to be done under a green flag. If it comes to the event where the last possible lap to pit is under a safety car, you can follow it in under league rules, but the amount of people that are going to overtake you in that short period of time is going to ruin your race regardless.
Yeah.
Oh, what's happened to Tees? He's dropped back.
He has, yes. I'm sure he'd be allowed to get back through, wouldn't he? Or has he actually had it off? He's had it off. He must have had it off.
He's had it off. His tyres are dirty, aren't they?
And that's going to compound his problems. Mind you, I mean, he's at the back of a train that's going to be pitting anyway, aren't they? So, I mean, it doesn't really help out anyway. But he'll just need to hope he isn't stacking with one of these 3 in front, because they'll all surely be going in at the same time, as we hopefully get ready to see the safety car coming in at the end of this lap. And let's look for the lights. They should be turning off right now, and if they aren't, panic. There we go.
Of course, this new non-mandatory stop rule means that you can follow the safety car in, but if you pit on that first lap following the safety car in, it is also classed as non-mandatory. So keep your eyes out for that, but most people appear to have got the rules right so far this season. What can Red Matt do on this restart?
Now, this restart should theoretically actually be a bit easier than previous ones, because you're coming out of a difficult corner actually for restarting this last corner. It may just make it a little easier for everyone to actually get round. So we'll ride on board. You can see the grid hatchings, and he can go now, and he has done.
Absolutely fine.
And it looks like T's at a decent start, but quite a few behind Connor have had a good start, and you can see Jamie getting through. Ben trying to get through as well. Remember, he made a pit stop under safety car, so he's sort of in the middle of nowhere here because he's yet to actually make a mandatory stop, so he is in a bit of trouble, actually. As you see, Jamie's lost it, and looks like MK Board has smashed straight into the back of him. And so the highest running driver with no damage, who has made a mandatory stop, is Corey, as far as I can tell. And he's going, he didn't see the car on his inside, and there's contact for him as well. And now, who else has been off? I think there's another car from the back, and might well have been MK Bourne again. They're fighting really hard to try and hold on to position. Be careful for a safety car. Luckily, they've both kept the thing moving, and that could be what keeps the safety car from coming out here. But if it does come out, there's big trouble. There's a car way off the road. Looks like it's speed 9 and safety car again. And that is bad news now.
Absolutely. I didn't quite catch who went into the wall there. Two cars in
Ben and Jamie, I think.
Ben and Jamie, yeah, in the higher end of the field. Yeah, that's unfortunate for those front four yet again, isn't it? But everyone who has already pitted can make a mandatory stop themselves and get that front wing replaced without really losing too much. How unfortunate. Gareth, is that Gareth? No, it's Pete. Pete's going to be one of those. The reason why Red Matt stayed out, by the way, of course, he picked up the lap 4 stage point, and he's already in the playoffs, so he's all right.
They must be hating this though, and they must be regretting not. Well, I mean, okay, Red Matt maybe not because he knows he's already in, but I mean, Gareth sitting there must be thinking, if only I'd have pitted on lap 1, because now I might not get a chance to pit until lap 8 or 9. I'm gonna have to make 2 in that time. Yeah. You know, it's a really tricky situation to be in this. Now, here's a question. If you... I suppose it won't count anyway, actually, will it? I'm going to ask anyway. If you Schumacher it and pit on the last lap, it doesn't count, does it? Because I wonder if anyone will try that.
I understand the reference of if you Schumacher it and pit on the last lap. I didn't quite hear the rest of the question.
I'm saying, if you Schumacher it and pit on the last lap, and you can claim that you would have been ahead coming out of the pits, do you reckon they'd be allowed to do it? Or is there no way you can get away with that loophole? Because I wonder if someone will try and pull that trick on you because of the lap.
Well, it's not a trick because we've just said no on stream. So
yeah, well, there you go. I'm just getting it out there because I'm sure someone there's thinking, you know, what way it is, pit lane is. I could actually pit on the last lap and overtake a couple of people on the way in. You know, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's that one's not going to happen. Definitely. Worth a try. I respect the question, but no. It has to show on our timing sheet. Yeah, on the left of the screen there.
That's my racer's brain now, just thinking, can I trick the system? Evidently, no. So. Yeah, we're just gonna have to...
Whilst you were asking that, Owen, we had 5 non-mandatory stops, 3 of those of which made their second in this race. A season totals now up to 46. It's flying high. Mike, Ben Harrett and Casper all making a second non-mandatory stop. Next stage lap, by the way, is end of lap 7. You would expect Red Matt will get that because of the safety car. So his race, he's already got 3 playoff points, so it's not a total disaster. However, the thing he should be wary of is, yes, he's got 3 stage points, but what about, 3 playoff points, what about the long game with the regular season championship? With those, 12 playoff points you can win for having the most points after 10 races. Is he giving that up to Kyle or Iceman, Kieran up there as well? You know, he could be missing that. But he is set up very nicely so far with 21 playoff points for the playoffs, which begin in... where do they begin? Belgium?
They begin
Canada.
in... Is it Canada? Yes, it is.
Canada. Yeah.
Canada, followed by Monza, and then you're going to have Interlagos, Mexico City, Kota, and then Suzuka. Then you'll be in Jeddah for the Championship 5. After this, we have Monaco, Imola, Portugal, Spa, and our famous Austrian Grand Prix for the deciding round of the regular season. So plenty of good races to look forward to. Some for better reasons than others, but you don't know what that means yet. So look out for that. But you don't know what you're looking out for.
I know what they are, but that's... I won't say anything. But yeah, that's a good one to come up. Next week is the throwback week for the first time ever. It's going to be in Imola and not Monza. And speaking of Monza, it is now a playoff race, as you've said. That's going to be quite exciting as a playoff race, I think. I don't think we've ever had it as one before, but that's going to be really, really good race, I think and hope. As the safety car has decided it's coming in, Red Matt will get us back underway. He will pick up his 21st playoff point of the season. And that also aligns nicely with the fact that it will be his 6th stage win, more than anybody else ever at this point in the season.
So
since JACKOCAR has begun. Tease drops back, but Red Matt will get us underway.
Yeah, so Tease is going to be into the pit lane, and so this isn't mandatory now.
It's not a mandatory stop.
But he does gain a bit of time, doesn't he? Because at least as they all restart, they were still going at safety car speed for the last corner, but still... Oh, it's going to leave him in a tricky position, and there's been another accident at turn 1 as well. Corey's so lucky not to turn Connor around, but surely there might be some damage on that car. It was such a big hit. And they're still fighting away. I'm watching sort of Kyle as he contacts as well with Jordan. Jordan, who, if there is damage to Corey, might not be looking too bad here, as Kieran is going right around outside of Kyle. Nice moves there. And Corey, is he damaged? Is he looking good? I think he might be okay, as Gareth actually understeers wide, and Corey's going to try round his outside. Remember, all these guys might find themselves rushing into the pits at the end of this lap. Someone will have to do it twice. Not many, but the race leader and second place definitely will, along with Connor as well. So plenty of stuff to happen here. This order will be changing, which surprises me that Corey is fighting so hard here, because he doesn't really need to.
Not at all. He is net race leader with that one pit stop already. Riori picks up a penalty. He's going to get Gareth into this corner as he looks to the inside. Gareth's not going to give him much room. Corey's going to send it anyway. Why not, my son? Through he goes. Now, will he stay out? He will pit, as does Red Matt. And this is going to be a hell of a train. This is true NASCAR.
Oh, look at Kieran making a few overtakes on the way in. Beautifully done. That was fantastic. He made 2 or 3 spots there. That is perfection in the pit lane.
SD Mats leads the race, meanwhile. That's nice to see, isn't it?
See? I said it. I said he'd lead at some point.
You did.
No, but unfortunately behind him he has got Pete. And so Pete, he stays out instead of making his second mandatory stop.
Which I think is clever.
That might not be the worst thing in the world, because there'll be surely a bit of stacking here. Someone must have lost some sort of track position in here. Mind you, I can't really tell from where I'm looking, but most of the field now have completed their mandatory stops. Tease is just completing his now, or his first stop.
Tease, yeah, that's only his first stop, because he made a non-mandatory behind the safety car.
I do hope he's not going to think it's his last one and then not pit again.
He does risk disqualification if he doesn't make the extra one. So also Red Matt, Gareth and Ben Harrett are the other 3 who also have to make mandatory stops, as well as SD Mats and Pete Knighton, who lead the way. So Corey is still the man at the moment. I never call him Corsa.
I was about to say, something's gone wrong there.
But Kieran is P2.
I think Kieran did a really good job there with that pit stop overtake as well. I'm sure you were watching it as well as me. Mainly because I was on board with it, so the viewers at the very least would have definitely seen it. Now, watching Corey all over the back of Red Matt, again, I've got to be careful they don't really smash into each other here, because Red Matt, there's a good chance to be into the pits again at the end of this lap. And if he is in the pits, then Corey doesn't want to be on his inside right now, unless, of course, Red Matt tries... Oh, he's hit him! He's hit him and he's gone into the gravel. And he gets himself back round. And that is going to cost him a couple of positions as he heads to the pits. He doesn't want to crash into anyone on his way in, which he doesn't. But it has got Gareth and Connor in front of him as they pit. And these should be the last pit stops of the race, right?
Yes, this is it now.
And now...
So we're going to get ourselves a nice 4-lap sprint with Corey at the head of it. with Kieran not that far behind, actually. We have a race on our hands here,
Yeah,
Owen.
look at SD Mats then. SD Mats has come back out in P5. That's not gone too badly for him at all.
And Pete has come out P3.
Yeah, Pete P3. So those guys not pitting up the first opportunity there actually might not have been a bad call. As you see Kyle getting past SD Mats and Ben getting past SD Mats, but still 7th isn't too bad.
Not at all.
And Kieran
Ben versus Kyle is going to be one of those season-long races.
Oh, look at this. Kieran's pulling himself. He's dragging himself into the DRS zone here, folks. If he can stay in this zone, if he can get through, we've both had him as one of our drivers to watch, and he's going to be getting the DRS. Kieran, lad, you are just 4 laps away. And look at Corey squirming through Chapel. He feels the pressure, but you don't want to blow your ERS too early as we have another car off. It's Yuri. He's done it at Beckett's, and he wants to make sure he doesn't hit anyone on the way back on, which he doesn't. Don't think we're going to be going to safety car. We're going to be keeping our eyes on the fight for the lead of the race, because if Kieran can do this, then it'll be yet another driver getting himself through to the playoffs. And it would be denying Corey of a 2nd victory in a row.
There's a great battle for 17th as well, by the way. Tees and Redmat fighting for last place. Tees with the only man yet to make that full 2 stops. Redmat looks to the outside, and he will get back past, but they've been fighting all through Sector 2. Yellow flags again.
Yeah, Yuri's tyres have had it, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
Here comes Kieran. He's given it some. He certainly looks the faster driver of the two. But can he get through? This guy's bottle is simply non-existent. So he needs to make sure he can find it tonight. Because if he can, he will be disqualified from Monaco's qualifying session. But on the plus side, he'll be into the playoffs, you know. You balance it out a little bit. But
you'd swap one for the other, wouldn't you?
You would.
You'd be happy with that.
You would, wouldn't you? You don't. Monaco. You don't want to be racing in Monaco anyway, do you? I think Corey might be sitting there thinking, "Do I really want to be at the back for Monaco? I'm already into the playoffs. I'll let this kid through, you know." Meanwhile, Kieran will be sitting there going, yes, please, let me through.
There we go.
And he's going to go for it. Round the outside, Kieran, he's looked the faster driver, but Corey's going to fight this one hard. But good exit from Kieran, keeps him alongside. But he got pushed wide, and it's going to be a penalty for Kieran. And I don't really think he'd have any grounds to have that one removed. And so that would be the bottle that I had just said he didn't have, and indeed he hasn't got it. And that means he isn't going to win the race unless something happens to Corey. He is quicker than him, but even at that point, Pete's going to be involved in a minute, and he may well.
Pete's eyes would have lit up with that penalty.
Yeah, and especially since Kieran now has nothing to lose by going for this, he might end up letting Pete into this. So they fight again. Kieran's used a lot of his ERS now as he goes round outside once again. Will these two have any sort of collision? Because I'm sure they will be fighting this one to the death. They're absolutely giving it everything. It's a fantastic scrap here in Silverstone. It's just a shame that Kieran had to pick the penalty up, didn't he? Because it just sort of dilutes the fight a little bit. I mean, even...
Surely not. Oh.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Thought about it.
He's trying to pressure Corey, isn't he? He's certainly doing a good job of that, as I think Pete's been taking a couple of liberties on the track limits. He wants to desperately catch up to this. He needs these two to be coming together here in Stowe, realistically, as Corey.
Pete winning this race wouldn't be a bad thing for either of the drivers. Yellow flags further back. It's Jamie, but Kieran goes through.
Yeah, Kieran's through. Corey hasn't got any ERS left. And so Kieran's through, but it doesn't really matter to Corey because a second victory of the season is just one lap away. A second victory in a row, a third victory in the JACKOCAR Cup Series. And he was last in the championship this time last week. Can you believe it? As we start the final lap, Kieran leads it from Corey, who maybe will fight back. He doesn't have to. But maybe he'll want to win this one on track just for a little bit of pride. And you can already imagine the fireworks in the chat after this. I'm guaranteeing Kieran will turn around and try and say that he's got a way of getting this penalty removed. And the thing is, there's only going to be a couple of minutes between rounds 5 and 6. So if there is a way for him to get this penalty removed, he's going to have to come up with the evidence very quickly indeed. As Iceman gets himself up to 4th place ahead of Jordan. Jordan, who's on the medium compound tyres, you'd expect Iceman to get through. And that is indeed what he has done, up into 4th place. And let's see, Corey, is he going to come back? Maybe. Oh! What a save.
That's the moment.
What a
These
save.
two are at each other in the chat all week, and it's so good. We're going to finally get to see it unfold on track. I know Kieran has that penalty, but it's going to be for pride, like you say, Owen. Kieran versus Corey.
Here
it's
we
one
go.
Of those juicy battles.
They're both low on the ERS, so it's going to be down to this DRS, and will Corey throw one up the inside into Stowe corner? Yes, he will. And Corey on the inside gets himself back in front. And as we go side by side into the last section of corners, Corey wants to win on track. Kieran looks like he's going to have to let him go because there's no way through. So Corey comes through. He's going to win it on track. It's 2 wins in a row for Corey as he wins the British Grand Prix. Pete in second place. Kieran will end up third in the end. Still a good result. Iceman 4th. Jordan 5th. Kyle 6th. Jamie 7th. Casper 8th. SD Matt's 9th. And NK Born 10th. It must be said, J Luke 18th to 7th. He hasn't had a bad run either.
Not bad at all on a track he's not too keen on as well. I'm happy to see Kieran keep the podium at least. Because he's having a brilliant season so far, but so is Corey. And Pete back on the podium as well, that's always nice. Jordan top 5, fully deserved. SE Maps dropped to 9th, but keeps himself in the top 10, which is also good for his playoffs. So yeah, it got going at the end there, didn't it? Those final 4 laps.
Yeah, it was good stuff, that at the end. Good to see. All the safety car stuff sort of meant that we were going to have a dash to the end. I think we're always going to get that here anyway. But a good dash it was, and we will be seeing... How big is that pile-up, by the way, on the main straight? Have you seen this? There's, what, 5 or 6 cars involved? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Connor is going to see this, and, well, yeah, good luck getting through that, man. Is he going to get through? Nope.
He does.
Oh, well, he hit them, but he got through. Hit them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... I think there is 6 cars in that, and a 7th one as Connor loses his front wing in there. It's become a classic tradition, this at Silverstone, hasn't it, really? I swear there's always some sort of a big pile up here. Yuri, is he going to try and get himself involved? He's trying to have his own accident, in fact.
Nicely done.
Yeah, well done. He'll probably regret doing that now, though, having seen the carnage in front of him. Oh, no, he's going to join it.
7 cars.
Yep, there you go.
Well, 2 in a row for Corey then.
It's a bit of a turn in form, isn't it, for the man who was last in the championship? We'll keep saying this because it is quite a good stat. And since he was so far behind, if he wants to win the regular season, he needs to keep this sort of performing up. And so, yeah, let's see if he can make it 3 in a row in Monaco. I mean, it would take quite the effort to go last to first in Monaco, but that is the task in front of him for the next sort of 40 minutes as we have a look at the results for the first race of the night. Corey from Pete, Kieran, Iceman, Jordan, Kyle, Jamie, Casper, SD Mats, and NK Born with Jamie, other Jamie, obviously 11th, Ben 12th, Iceman, or not Iceman, Quinn 13th, Gar 14th, Redmat 15th, Tees 16th, Connor 17th, Yuri 18th, and then the 2 DSQs, actually, OKK and Jake.
Yep, I was just updating my stats there. Kieran with fastest lap, so actually gets 2 playoff points for that. Good race in the end for him. And Corey obviously with 5 for the race win, so he's looking very good. Hang on, let me tell you. That would put Corey on to 10 playoff points for the season, as I now have to do something, which is change a couple of settings, and we can get going for round 6.
Well, that's it now. We are sitting here waiting for
Me.
you.
Yeah.
And huzzah! Look at that. Like magic, we're here at Monaco. I mean, what a quick turnaround that was. I mean, we were in Silverstone 5 seconds ago, and suddenly Monaco's appeared on the screen like magic. And luckily, we don't have to sit here saying, we got this new person to the playoffs, got this new person, because actually Corey made our life a little bit easier by winning that race. And so now we can still say the situation in the championship is pretty much the same as it was before the first race, which means that we can hopefully go well with this. And shockingly, Kieran has forgotten the rules and is wondering why Corey's actually got a qualifying ban in the first place. Apparently he only had 4 hours of sleep and yet still put on a pretty good fight for the win. But the penalty, that's probably what the 4 hours was. That's what the 4 hours sleep does to you. You make that mistake and lose. And yeah, that's the weekly bashing Kieran over, and it's now time to qualify in Monaco at night time as well. And Jamie has successfully changed his livery. He said he was going to, and he has. So well done to him for the quick changeover. Looks like Yuri's also going to be coming out with a new livery, so that's very impressive. They've not only had time to fly to Monaco in minutes, but they've also had a chance to quickly repaint the entire car.
So I am listening, Owen. I'm just leaving it to you at the moment. It's post-race JACKOCAR. I'm sure it's the same with any league, but it's just absolutely hectic with the messages you get. So
Indeed.
I will leave you to entertain the viewers. Back to the original qualifying format. The difference is now Corey has a qualifying ban and Ben Harrett can qualify. But it's other than that, it's much the same. Installation lap for Corey is allowed.
Yeah, so there's nothing too different. We'll let you know, of course, when we're watching Corey's one, although you'll be able to see pretty well anyway. And we are just waiting for Yuri to come out. Remember, before the quali clock was about a minute behind, so it wouldn't really surprise me again if it's done that again, which is sort of why Yuri hasn't come out on 17 minutes, which is what he's meant to do, and which is what he probably will do on his screen. And yeah, hopefully that'll all go all right. I guess what probably happens to cause this is that we don't have to look at the tyre selection screen before we come in here, so we're probably sitting here and it just starts our clock while they're waiting a minute to do their tyre selection, and that's probably where this minute comes from. As out of the pits in one of the new Season 5 liveries comes Yuri. This is one of my favourites actually of the new set. It has sort of made me sort of want to buy the, I don't want to call it a battle pass. What is it called? Podium pass. That's what it is.
Battle pass. That's a throwback. When Fortnite was good, yeah.
But look at it. A very nice looking livery with the sort of circuit board design. And the red and the blue. I'd be going for green and blue though, personally, for my one. But enough about my liveries. You've not seen any of them yet. As we, well, I tried to show them 1 week, didn't I, actually, but that lasted all of about 2 minutes. I'll get another chance. But anyway, out lap time. Obviously, the perils around Monaco are well known, so don't be hitting those walls, and if you even dare cut a corner even slightly, you might be sent flying, and you might also lose your lap, so a lot to sort of balance around here, and it could lead to a mixed up sort of grid. Expect potentially a few more invalidations this time round compared to last time. And
so we had 18 actual laps set, didn't we? So it was pretty standard. I think they're getting better with the qualifying as it grows with the league. Of course, added for Season 2, the single lap qualifying. I think only once have we had all 20 drivers set a valid lap. As we watch the newest of those laps, Juri Hasliger from Holland gets us underway in Monaco.
As he climbs up the hill then, flat out as he goes. We're right on board actually, let's see how close he can get to the walls. Always a sort of game of chicken around here, but you can see Yuri is staying a long way away from the walls, at least in the first sector. Expect the sort of fastest laps of the session, they'll be climbing all over these walls. He's not even sort of hitting the apexes at the hairpins, he just... Maybe it is a bit of an understeer thing, maybe understeer isn't the worst thing in the world to have on a lap like this. At least you're not knocking the inside wall. As you head down to the chicane at the bottom of the hill, very easy to hit this inside wall, in fact with your rear tyre if you're not careful, as you try to swing it round. A bit of a drift as he headed out, but all looks decent so far as he heads through to back and through the swimming pool section. Bump in the middle of the swimming pool section, very easy to spin off. And he took it very easily through the second chicane just to make sure he didn't end up into the wall. And look at the drifting. He's really struggling for traction at the last moments of the lap. All over the place he was. And that probably won't be the best time of the session, as we said before. But still, it is a time on the board. A 1 minute 10.8.
Not a bad lap. As we move to Jake, of course, Jake is very familiar with this circuit as we look back, or think back, sorry, to last season.
And drifting as well.
No wing with those final 2 laps, you may remember.
Yes.
Red Matt goes around the outside of Casino Square, and that's what puts him into the Championship 5. Fine margins.
One of the most dramatic moments in all of JACKOCAR's history, that was, wasn't it? Oh,
he's
he's
hit the
done
wall.
what I said you'd do in that corner, and he hit the wall with his rear.
It's not in season, is
It
it?
just isn't, is it? And he's going to have to crawl back now, letting Jamie go through. We will inspect that livery a little bit closer when we're on his lap. But for now, we're watching Tease as he heads through. The orange are looking a bit more pronounced here. Oh, he's hit the wall, is he, on the inside? If not, he had to definitely turn out of Portier. So the guys are struggling round here. Already one invalidation, already through 1 accident. How's Tease going to handle the chicane? The problem is you can't see the wall when you hit it. Because you think you're already, oh, he's hit the wall into back now, but you think you're already through at the Nouvelle chicane when you aren't, and it catches you out. His front wing must be damaged somewhat, and you can see the right hand side of it is missing for Tease. As long as he just gets through the last corner, he will be okay, and he has. But a very sketchy lap. But a lap that does put him P2. And now, Jamie. He has been able to change the livery between sessions. He has ditched the royal blue and gone for a glitzy, glamorous gold.
I like this.
Yeah, it's a nice livery, this, isn't it? Keep calm and no heroics in Descent of all. That's a good line to have on your halo. It's an HRT. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, there you go. Or tell you what, Force India.
Oh, good shot.
2010, that sort of era. I
2008, I think.
Yes.
Maybe if you swap the gold and the red around in the livery, but nah, I definitely know where you're coming from.
You can see what I'm thinking, can't you? But
Yeah.
Jamie goes P3. Good lap. What are we looking at? Connor's next.
I wonder why that was so slow, actually. Didn't look to be too many dramas on there, but it just wasn't anywhere near Yuri's pace. As Connor heads through. I think one lap I'm looking forward to seeing this session is from Iceman, because he's the one who keeps going on about how good he is at this track. Wasn't it him? So,
yeah,
and it all went
Iceman.
Terrible last season. He DC'd in the qualifying session. And again in the race, I think more than once. It just wasn't happening for him last season, and he'd be looking to get his place in the playoffs here, if he can. And that's quite remarkable, actually, that he hasn't got a playoff spot yet, because he's been driving so well this season. Don't know what happened to him on the first lap last race, but he tends to be up there.
He didn't qualify on the front row. That was the difference. Connor goes P4. I think he won this race in Monaco in the Kia Series last season. But yeah, as you were, Iceman. I am looking forward to that lap later on.
Yeah, I hope we can catch it all, and hopefully he doesn't bottle it for us. As we watch Quinn gets nowhere near the wall at the Nouvelle chicane. He isn't even interested in thinking about taking the risk there.
He's a man who has to be up for work at 2 a.m, but he's still racing.
Oh, very understeery through the second chicane. He was not having a good time for there at all. He almost looks like he's cruising. That's how much he had to sort of get off the throttle there to make sure he didn't have an accident. And it doesn't look the best last sector, and you can see it reflected in the lap time. A 1:13.8. The drivers are struggling more than I expected around here, actually.
Yeah. Although Casper's hooked that corner up very nicely. This is a car that looks good under the lights.
Oh, yes.
Red and black.
The Ribena is certainly looking juicy tonight, isn't it? Look at that. It's a beautiful colour.
Oh, has a
Very
Hamilton
drifty
moment through there. But Casper, we're still waiting for his full-time moment. Obviously, he's won before, but it's not happened for him this season. Somebody we expect a race win from at some point in the season. And he goes P1 on a 109.9. The first real good lap we've had.
Right,
move on to
okay. Very slidey as he heads onto the lap. 2 drifts in 2 corners. Not the way I'd be starting my Monaco lap. But again, I'm not racing, so I'm not... Oh, he's hit the wall through turn 1. He isn't having the best start, is he? As he gets through Casper. He needs to keep that rear end in check, because the more he does that, he's hit the wall again. He's not listening to me. And again. Yep. Still not listening. Still not listening.
No. You can't park there, sir.
No. He certainly cannot. As he reverses out, he's got to keep the lap going now, and he needs to make sure he doesn't get in Ben Harrett's way. I don't know where he is at the moment. He's climbing up the hill at the start of the lap, and he will come across this front wingless car. And like I said, actually, Ben Spur's livery looks a lot better than I thought it would under the lights. It sort of
does.
Oh no, he's hit the wall though.
He gets away with it, Owen. A very nice looking livery indeed. The green really pops in the night sky here.
It does, yeah.
Retires on his hot lap.
That's an accident, isn't it? That looks like an accident to me. Hopefully. I hope.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all very slidey through there, isn't it? As we see, where's that car?
On the
just
left.
on the exit. Okay, he'll avoid that then.
I imagine they're in a party together, so he would have known about that, Ben.
It really is so perilous trying to drive the cars through here. It really... I don't know why it surprises me as much as it does. He must have some front wing damage here, because he's looked a bit all over the place since he hit the wall. And I think there's been another car in the wall as well out there.
Spun.
Pete,
spun. No, he's blocking the track.
Oh dear. Yeah, I can see that, yeah. That's SD Max on an out lap, mind you. So not the end of the world. I see Ben Harrett crossing the line. This will go into P5. Pete's still trying to do a 3-point turn, and you can see he's getting in to Gareth's way now, also on an out lap. But that's a front wing gone, a lap over. But as long as he can get to the line, there might be a few invalidations. There already has been a few invalidations. Corey, I assume, has done his out lap. If not, he's just not bothered. Because he has already retired, but we can go and see SD Mats now and see a full lap with him.
Yeah, Corey definitely got the message to not qualify. But yeah, let's join SD. Getting ever so slowly better as the season goes on. It's such a quiet driver. He says the least amount in the chat out of everybody.
Just gets on with it.
Just gets on with it, and he's getting the points. He's finishing races. And let's see what he can do around Monaco.
Took it very easy through turn 1. Was not interested in binning the lap early on. And you can see him just being careful as they head right through the casino section. They're all doing this, just doing their best. It seems so understeery. And it surprises me how understeery they're finding it. But, well, he's getting round, SD. But, again, I'm not sure he's hit a single apex after turn 1. You know, it's just a real struggle to get around. Maybe it'll pay dividends in straight line speed here or something, but it appears to be running lower wings than others. Should have been doesn't stack it into this wall through here. And he doesn't.
Not as committed as Casper, so I don't think he's going to affect the front runners with this lap.
No, he does look too understeery for that to happen, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He'll be concerned with this lap. He'll be heading around here thinking this thing really needs to be starting to turn into the corners, and it isn't. It really isn't. And you can see the P1 time's gone, P2, 3, 4, probably P5 it is. So not quite what he was expecting there.
Gareth's invalidated.
Oh, he has. So Gareth, he's going to be right at the back. As we see MK Bourne. The lovely livery looks even lovelier under the night sky. The red, the yellow popping beautifully. And we'll see if he can perform a miracle on the street track. Looks decent so far. Not seen much of it, mind you, but he seems more committed than we've seen from other drivers. Maybe too committed. Maybe too
not.
committed.
One of those drivers as well, much like Gareth, much like SD, just sitting nicely in the top 10 in the playoffs, finishing races, finishing races, getting the points. It is Ryan Blaney inspired body armour car. MK Bourne, the only German driver to ever race in JACKOCAR. To the line, it's P2, good lap. Almost hit a car on pit exit as well.
Yeah, let's not hit cars on the way out of pits. That would be an awful way to lose a lap, wouldn't it? As we see Jordan heading through. And we'll be hoping the time to get in a bit quicker now, because I do want to see some absolute stonking laps, you know.
We also want to see Red Matt's car under the lights.
Indeed. And look at Jordan, he really did take it easy through the Nouvelle chicane. He was not interested at all in getting near that wall, and it's cost him plenty of time, as you can see. That might not be challenging for the top three, maybe for the second row, fourth place perhaps, but not as strong as he would have liked it, unless he's had a better final sector, but I don't think he has, and he does go P4. No, Jamie. He's still out there on softs, and so didn't really work for him last time, but we can get to watch the whole lap this time. So we'll see if he messes it up live, and right behind him will be Iceman. So we'll need to catch some of his lap as well, because we are expecting that one to be one of the laps of the session, if not the lap of the session.
If you believe everything you're told, definitely. J. Luke, though, coming into Monaco, not one of his favourite tracks at all. And he's very, very vocal about that. But he does say, after this race, the next 4 races, which takes us to the end of the regular season, are 4 of his favourites. And he told me to expect at least 2 podiums, and one of those to be a win. But of course, he's got 20 laps of Monaco to master first.
Middle sector isn't massively competitive, so I don't think he's going to be setting the world alight with his lap time. He's just about stopping himself hitting the wall at every difficult corner, which is pretty much all of them. So, yeah, the struggle is real here for him, but he has got to the line. He has gone 6th. Could be worse. As we catch up with Kieran, he's in the middle sector at the moment.
Iceman's just about to begin his lap, by the way,
yeah.
If you're interested.
We will keep our eye on that one, because Kieran is looking pretty quick. We'll see if he can keep this one going. It should certainly be at least P2 if he keeps it going, but can he find that little bit extra and stick it on provisional pole position as he heads up to the line? It will be 2nd place, 2/10 off the pace. And so, let's see what Iceman's up to then. Didn't ever get a chance to see his epic qualifying pace here last season due to him DCing during the session. But now we're going to get to see it all in its glory or its potential disaster. We have certainly put the pressure on him as he heads through the Nouvelle chicane.
He went a little bit wide as well into hairpin just before you joined us on board. Certainly making up for that little mistake on the rest of the lap. He's absolutely on the button, as the kids say.
Yeah, it's still P1 this, as long as he keeps it going. This, oh, he's gone very wide though. Definitely was worried for him there. Will he still get the time though? He should do. He does, but will those couple of tenths he's just lost there possibly cost him? The only guy out there that can realistically stop him is this man, and he's not doing so at the moment, is Kyle. He's nowhere near at the minute. He might be able to challenge for maybe the top 3, but again, it's a wide Rascast. We know that cost Iceman a couple of tenths, and he was, there with some decent time in hand. What's Kyle got? Oh, it's cost him P3 on the grid. It's cost him P3. Now, under the lights, look at this. Very shiny. But it is on medium tyres, so we'll see what Red Matt can manage here. It should be a top 10 time, as long as he knows what he's doing around here, which he should do. But yes, the golden shine of his car, very much a fan of that under the lights, as much as it was in broad daylight as well. But will it be a P1? Oh, I don't think it will with that. Definitely struggling. I know the tyres make a difference, but this is not his best lap. It might squeeze into the top 5 though, which I suppose for mediums actually isn't too bad.
Red Matt up to his old tricks again. I think he's going for stage points. He's very loose through there, but he's going to keep it planted and in a straight line. Red Matt goes P5. Spot on with that call, Mr. Owen Wyatt. 5th on the mediums around Monaco. And not a bad qualifying session for a session that had very little grip in it. But Iceman, he called the pole and he got the pole. Casper and Kieran right behind him. I think we're in for to Kyle as well. The 3Ks behind Iceman. I think we're in for a good race here.
Yeah, and Iceman will be faced with a very difficult decision at the start of this race because it's not exactly the best track to be in traffic in. So, do you actually want to be making your stops early today? Or do you want to hope for no safety cars, which is a pretty big risk to take, and make pit stops later when you're going to come out in less traffic? That's what he's going to have to worry about because he knows he's quick enough, but will the pit stops play out for him? This is a huge chance to get his spot in the playoffs confirmed. Iceman on pole. Casper, Kieran, Kyle, second, third, fourth. Red Matt, Enko Vaughan, Yuri, Jordan, Tees, and Jamie completing the top 10. Red Matt will obviously start on those mediums. Jamie in 11th place. SD Matt's 12th. Then we've got Ben, Connor, Quinn, Pete, Jake, Corey, Gareth, and OKK. That is your grid for the second race of tonight.
Still not happening for Jake, is it? 5 races in and 0 points. It is the worst record ever in a JACKOCAR career. Nobody has matched that point scoring record since the beginning of our time in 2020.
Yeah, that is pretty concerning for him, considering this is now the era of points being scored for simply seeing the checkered flag. It shows just how big his struggles have been. But, well, I don't think the DESQ in the last race was really his fault, in fairness. So, but regardless of that, he was facing backwards, wasn't he, in turn 3? So, it's just not the form we've expected of him, has it? I mean, of course it isn't, but, well.
Well, if anybody watched the playoff or the postseason last season, you'd know Jake is a man who could. He hasn't won yet, but could potentially win races, and certainly is always battling top fives.
His problem is, right, he sweats too much on the real life go-karting tracks, and he's actually forgotten how to drive on the game.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Every single lap you were quicker than me in Walton Mill. You're getting your you're getting your payback, your karma for this now. Bloody 7 seconds a lap quicker than me. Who does he think he is? Lewis Hamilton.
Let's just hope for his sake he doesn't go 6 races without a point. That's never happened before.
No. It would be in the realms of Kia if you do that. You got to be careful. Mind you, I'm pretty sure Kia would say no to him anyway, but we shall see.
He's too slow for us. He's not a threat.
Exactly.
Down there. Monaco, just to remind everybody, stage points are lap 5 and lap 10, and again we have a formation lap which Iceman will lead us away from.
And as I say, his decision is going to be very interesting indeed when it comes to when he pits, because really, when, it's a simple, when, just with the way overtaking is, it's simply non-existent here. Unless you want to barge your way fast, and we know what that causes. That causes accidents, which causes safety cars, and it ruins your race. So you've got to be really careful. We've got a few drivers on the medians. We've got 8 of them starting on medians. They'll seemingly be placing their bets and going a little bit further. I really just want to get rid of them quickly. In a 25% race, 3 stints, you can basically do quali laps every lap, and not really worry about how it affects the tyres. So yeah, this will be interesting.
Absolutely. Just having a look at the stats here. Iceman, because I always tell you a qualifying stat, don't I, after qualifying? I forgot to do it just then. But that is Iceman's 3rd pole in the league, in his 46th start. So he's now level with Pete all time, and 1 behind Corey. I think there's going to be a few more poles to come from him this season. Red Matt as well. Very, very fast drivers. The Speed Boys have certainly turned up this season. But Casper, Kieran, Kyle, well, Kyle's in the playoffs, but certainly Casper and Kieran looking for their wins. They are the drivers that are capable of winning, and they're in a very good place to do it. And of course, watch out for Corey coming through from the back. And what can Jake do? Keep your eye on him. Can he go 6 races in a row without a point? It's never been done before. Owen Wyatt, it's time for Monaco, and it's night time.
Indeed it is. And Oh, this turn one could be a real struggle if you don't get off the line. Because you do not want to be going in there side by side, but I imagine some people will be giving it a shot. Hopefully, most of them follow what is on Jamie's halo. Keep calm and no heroics in the Sandoval. That's what they've all got to seriously be looking at here. As we see, every driver's on the grid, the lights are on here in Monaco, and for the second time tonight, it's boogity boogity boogity, and let's go racing. And look at that, Iceman has had a horrible start. He's fallen already down to second, third place, but he has to dive up the inside into turn one to hold on. But it's Casper who leads up the hill. Perfect get away from him. He didn't have to worry about Iceman in the end. He just had so much wheel spin, and it cost him a great deal. And we're going to see a couple of cars going side by side. Nothing too dramatic so far, as Jamie and Ben have a little bit of a battle, and a few more are going for it as we head through the hairpins. And you can see MK Bourne throwing one way up the inside of T. He's hitting him 2, 3, 4, 5 times and putting him into the wall. He's almost stopped. In fact, he did stop. A few more as well, struggling as they head through there. There may be some pit stops at the end of the first lap. That one, possibly one for a front win as well, but we'll see. As we all head through, 20 cars still in the running. We're doing better than we were in Silverstone.
I think you've said too little. Oh, sorry, I think you've said a lot there, Owen. Not too little.
Oh, tease.
20 cars still running. Tease is having a nightmare, isn't he, down in P10?
Must have big damage.
Into the wall by MK Bourne.
There he goes. JACKOCAR punctures that. There's a lot of front wing flying about. So look out for that as well. Any cars go.
Iceman pits, but Casper stays out.
Well, he's got to try something different now. Having lost the lead of the race, but he goes side by side again. And these guys are going to possibly pull into the pit lane. No, it's just Tees. And, oh, well, actually quite a lot behind him in fairness. And there's a few fights as well. Gareth wasn't interested in pitting. He ended up being shoveled into the wall almost, just because they all wanted in. And so, all these stops, there'll surely be a little bit of stacking. There'll be surely some new front wings as well. But they all head back out. Kyle, the lead car of the ones who have pitted. Iceman. Iceman, yes. Yeah. And then it'll be Kyle, and then Yuri. So that'd be some top three, wouldn't it? But they have some clear track now, as does Casper. So Casper probably would be out there with them as well.
Iceman's catching up to the back of the guys who haven't pitted yet, which is Gareth and OKK.
Yeah, this is it. He's hit OKK a little bit there. Some sparks flying. I don't think he was expecting this. There must be some damage on Gareth after the situation at the pit entry on the last lap. Did Gareth actually pick up some damage, and is that what's causing this pit? Will Iceman have to try and get his elbows out as Corey fights with Jamie? Has Jamie been in the wall? That's a very odd place to lose a position here in Tabac, but he's lost it as Kieran stays out, which is an interesting decision. Will he go for a playoff point? As we see
2 laps away.
As we see Jamie entering the pits as well as Casper. Surely Gareth is pit lane bound. He looks too slow to not be. And in fact,
look at Casper. Look at the gap he's got on Iceman.
Yeah, they're all pitting, in fact, these four. So we're seeing Kyle and Iceman finishing their pit stops right now. And are there going to be any front wings here?
Nope.
Nope.
Good decision from both of those, though. I respect that.
But
Casper has a huge lead.
Yeah, but the thing is, safety car comes out, they've finished their strategies, and that could be a real advantage, as long as, of course, they're not the ones who calls the safety cars, and that is a serious possibility when they're heading through this traffic. Kyle in front of Iceman, trying to get away from him now, because Iceman will be sitting there thinking, I cannot believe this. Look at all the cars in front of me, and now Kyle's in front of me too. He will not be enjoying this.
His race is ruined, isn't it?
Casper, I'm sure, will be getting word of what's happening. Kieran's into the pits now. And will Casper possibly just finish his pit stop strategy now as well? He's set a very fast middle sector, so he's absolutely flying out there.
Look at Redman on his way to pick up another playoff point as well. End of lap 5, remember.
So there is a pit stop strategy completed. Connor is in the wall big time. That could bring a safety car out. And with Casper sitting in the pit lane right now, Corey as well. I think Casper, if a safety car came out right now, I think he'd be relatively pleased because he's completed his pit stop strategy, but I don't think we're going to get one. They're all heading past the accident site, and they don't
Jordan goes a little bit wide.
They don't seem too concerned, actually, about bringing a safety car out, so it looks like we're going to stay green. Hopefully no one hits that stricken car.
Notice a chain reaction. Drivers all pit in there when they saw the yellows come out. And of course, if you are already committed to pit lane, or in the pit lane, or in the entry too, it is classed as mandatory, so you do get away with it. But Red Matt started sweating a little bit there, as he's going to come round to begin lap 5, which is the first stage point lap. A few more laps led for him. He's dominating that chart. But Kieran looking very good, and so is Casper on the 2 stops.
Yeah, Kieran, he'll be pitting possibly in the next couple of laps. Maybe he'll just be enjoying the clean air for now. Corey, I could see him pitting as well a couple of times, and no one even crashed. No one even crashed. EA, Codemasters, PlayStation. This is the problem now. We can't count the pit stops thanks to you. So let's just hope when we come back there isn't a safety car out, because if there is, we're in trouble. Because someone's going to have to count. And I'm not good at this whole counting when I can't see. Also, this could fry my hard drive. So